This is KGW News at noon.
Portlanders deserve to feel safe in their community. I'm here to say to you that we hear you, and we're dedicated to bringing accountability for the harm you've endured and to intervening to prevent others from feeling that same pain.
That's Mayor Ted Wheeler's message to the community as the city gets ready to launch a new effort to curb gun violence. Thank you for joining us this noon. I'm Brenda Braxton. Gun violence typically escalates during the summer, and the mayor is trying to prevent that from happening. He announced an hour ago that the city is partnering with the National Institute for Criminal Justice Reform to launch a new campaign called Portland Ceasefire. This is a street-level outreach program. The goal is to reach people at the highest risk of being involved in gun violence. The mayor touted the program's success in Oakland and Stockton, California. It's a collaborative effort between community groups, the city, and police.
Through Ceasefire, our overarching goal is to increase public safety citywide. We will do this by reducing gang and group involvement in shootings and homicides, decreasing recidivism and incarceration rates among gang and group members, and strengthening the police-community relations.
The mayor also announced the city will not implement gunshot detection technology. The city was considering a contract with the company Sound Thinking. It rebranded from the name ShotSpotter. Critics called the technology ineffective and an invasion of privacy. Portland City Council will vote no earlier than next week on a proposed camping ban. For hours yesterday, people testified in favor and against the mayor's latest plan. Alma McCarty was there to get reaction.
Armed with signs reading "House keys, not handcuffs," and "Let people exist," opponents of Mayor Ted Wheeler's daytime camping ban voiced frustration and fear outside City Hall.
Let's show that we matter!
And in council chambers.
What Ted Wheeler is proposing is inhumane, it's dehumanizing, and it will result in violence and death. Like, people will die if this ban passes.
This is an attempt to criminalize homelessness, and instead of jailing homeless people, that money could be better spent working to provide adequate housing for a fraction of the cost.
Asking homeless Portlanders, 60% of whom live with one or more disabilities, to carry their homes on their backs for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, will heighten mental and physical distress.
We have women, we have children that are houseless. That to ask them to go to sleep at night is totally unrealistic.
Enforcement of the ban, which also prohibits camping at all times on sidewalks, near schools, and in high crash corridors, would be phased in. More than 3 violations could result in fines or jail time.
Since announcing these changes, our office has received overwhelming positive support for this proposal. These changes are critical. You may not agree, and that's fine.
Several speakers in favor of the proposed ordinance also testified, grateful for the council's consideration.
I'm begging you, please ban unsanctioned camping in Portland and stop the horrific crime wave that I am certain has affected you and some of your personal acquaintances.
We absolutely cannot allow this situation to continue. We cannot allow people to keep refusing help.
I believe our community's intentions have been in the right place by prioritizing compassion for those who find themselves on our street. However, I also believe that our community has been taken advantage of by a significant number of people that do not want shelter, treatment, or the like, and merely want to live consequence-free on our streets.
Mayor Wheeler noting at the end of a nearly 5-hour council meeting, despite visceral disagreement, there's common ground. A need to address core issues of housing, mental and behavioral health, and addiction.
I think on the things where we agree, I wish we could be better coordinated to continue to fight for those services where I heard just broad consensus.
Alma McCarty, KGW News.
In Vancouver, the city held a listening session to get feedback on its latest choice for a safe stay community. It would provide temporary shelter for up to 40 people, but there is concern it's close to a school.
All of the issues I've had to take care of it myself. They throw rocks through the windows. They throw rocks through my sign. They bust the sign. They damage my property. And the city's not coming to help me.
I fully support this as a site. I do see homeless people in this area. I do know that they are present with us every day, and we need to be providing services.
The site is on Main Street next to Interstate 5 and about a half mile from Discovery Middle School. This would be Vancouver's 4th Safe Stay community. Now, if you'd like to weigh in, there is another listening session Monday night at Discovery Middle School from 7 to 9. You can also submit questions or concerns through the city's website until Friday, June 9th. Well, it is the first day of June and we have plenty of sunshine. That's a live look from our Cannon Beach sky cam. Look at all that blue sky. So Rod, the stretch of nice weather continuing.
Yeah, Cannon Beach, by the way, has looked like that since the sun came up. Been a beautiful day along the Oregon coast. I want to let you know we will be watching in the coming hours what we're starting to see, and that is shower activity expected to become thunderstorms coming up from our south into south central Oregon and maybe over toward the Burns area as well. In fact, they do have a shower right now, but this is the only part of our two-state area expecting any rain today. That temperature, by the way, out at beautiful Cannon Beach, 55 degrees, coast on the way. For some areas, get up to about 60, 62, but it is a beautiful sunny day. Clear skies out in the gorge. This is the Oregon Veterans Home camera out in the Dalles. Northwest winds at 13, but it's not as windy as it has been. Last couple of days, there have been gusts all the way up to 30. It's not that breezy today. You're at 68 degrees on your way up into the 70s. Mostly sunny, we'll call it, in downtown. 62 puts us in prime territory to also be jumping up into the 70s. Again, 74 degrees at noon as you look at your numbers, and 74 for a high at 4 p.m. 2 pages is what I had to print to get all of the records for the month of May. We'll go over those records coming up in my complete forecast, Brenda. It's amazing.
Yeah, we'll see you then, Rod. Thank you. The family of a Portland hiker found shot to death in Washington claims Lewis County sabotaged the investigation, and they're now planning to sue the sheriff's office. Sebastian Robertson talked to the family's attorney about these latest developments.
That's Aaron Christensen on the base, some 4 years before he'd be shot and killed on a camping trip in Washington state.
From there, it's just been a roller coaster and a nightmare, really.
Deputies found Christensen and his dog dead on a trail in August. The lifelong outdoorsman was 49 years old.
The family was being told that he had had a heart attack and then he was shot, and that just seemed absolutely ridiculous to us.
2 months later, Christensen's death was ruled a homicide. Detectives identified a 20-year-old shooter after getting a tip from the suspect's family members. Deputies were told the man feared Christensen and his dog were wild animals, but later found their bodies. In April, Lewis County prosecutors announced they would not pursue felony charges, citing lack of evidence.
An arrest and some justice would at least give us some healing and some closure. And at this point, the Friends group really believes we're being denied that.
Family representing Christensen's estate are now planning to sue the Lewis County Sheriff's Department, alleging the results from a necropsy performed on Christensen's dog don't match the narrative released by investigators.
The impropriety that we're seeing, and that we believe occurred, happened with Buzzo and the dog being in the exclusive care of Lewis County Sheriff and various deputies there, and suddenly popping up with an exit wound that the medical professionals say was not there.
Christensen's family accuses the county of mishandling the deceased puppy in order to sabotage a criminal investigation.
Nothing will really bring Aaron back, but maybe the lawsuit will at least hold them liable for taking Aaron's life.
Friends are remembering Christensen the best they can, releasing a tribute album in his name with all the money going to his family. In the meantime, the Lewis County Sheriff's Office has not commented on the case. Let's take you to Washington, D.C. now. You are looking live at the Senate floor where lawmakers are debating the debt ceiling bill. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the Senate will remain in session until it approves the package. Oregon Senator Jeff Merkley has already said he'll vote no. Now, this comes a day after the House approved the bill 314 to 117. Here's how our local delegation voted. Congresswomen Suzanne Bonamici and Val Hoyle were the only two to vote no. President Biden praised the House for approving the bipartisan deal, saying neither side got everything they wanted. This hard-fought agreement faces even more pushback in the Senate.
This deal begs the question, with Republicans like these, who needs Democrats?
This agreement is nowhere near as bad as the Republican original proposal, which would have been devastated. But I think for a variety of reasons, the no vote is right.
With a June 5th deadline, Congress has to act fast in order to avoid a catastrophic default. The GOP walkout in the Oregon legislature is now in its 5th week. About 90 minutes ago, Senate President Rob Wagner once again took roll, and there were not enough senators for a quorum. Just a day ago, Oregon Governor Tina Kotek said negotiations to end the Republican walkout have failed. GOP senators left because of a bill dealing with abortion and gender-affirming health care. Kotek indicated those things are not up for discussion. Senate Republican leader Tim Knopp accused Kotek of being uncompromising. Well, hundreds of bills are in limbo, among them high-priority environmental legislation to make buildings more resilient to climate change. They'd help Oregonians pay for heat pumps, provide incentives for energy-efficient upgrades, and create a navigation system so people can find all the savings they're eligible for. If this legislation dies, Oregon could miss out on federal funding. $369 billion was set aside for climate action in the Inflation Reduction Act.
The bills are frankly less about Oregon investing in the devices themselves or the upgrades themselves, and more about setting up a really smart strategic infrastructure so that we can take best advantage of that federal money.
The package is estimated to cost $20 million, but an environmental advocacy group says it had the potential to unlock a minimum of $250 million in federal money.